You may feel calm and capable all day, only to become tense, restless, or anxious as soon as night falls. The house is quiet, nothing is wrong, yet your mind races, your body feels alert, and sleep feels impossible. Many women between 30 and 45 experience this pattern and are told it's anxiety or overthinking, but that explanation rarely feels complete. Very often, the trigger is hormonal. At night, your body is meant to shift into rest and recovery. Hormones like cortisol, progesterone, estrogen, insulin, and adrenaline help regulate this transition. After 30, natural hormone shifts combined with chronic stress and blood sugar instability can disrupt this process, causing anxiety to rise after dark. In this video, you'll learn the hormone trigger behind night anxiety in women, why it happens more often after 30, and what gentle, hormone-friendly habits help your body feel safe enough to rest. Cortisol at the wrong time. Why anxiety turns on after dark. When anxiety appears only after the lights go off, you may feel emotionally stable all day, handling work, family, and responsibilities without panic. Then night arrives, everything slows down, and anxiety suddenly turns on. Your thoughts race, your chest feels tight, and your body feels alert instead of sleepy. This confusing shift is often driven by cortisol rising at the wrong time, not by something being wrong with you. What cortisol is meant to do. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. It follows a natural daily rhythm. In a healthy pattern, cortisol rises in the morning to help you wake up and gradually falls throughout the day. By evening, cortisol should be low, allowing the nervous system to relax and the brain to prepare for sleep. This rhythm helps you feel alert when you need energy and calm when it's time to rest. When cortisol's rhythm flips. In many women after 30, this rhythm becomes disrupted. Instead of declining in the evening, cortisol stays elevated or even rises at night. When this happens, the body remains in alert mode just as you're trying to wind down. This doesn't happen randomly. It often develops after long periods of chronic stress, constant mental load, poor sleep quality, irregular routines, little true recovery during the day. Your body doesn't forget stress just because the day ends. When the environment finally becomes quiet, cortisol surges as the nervous system processes everything it didn't have time to handle earlier. Why this is more common after 30. After 30, hormonal buffering becomes less reliable. Progesterone, which normally calms the nervous system in the evening, often declines. Estrogen, which helps regulate stress response sensitivity, fluctuates more. Without these calming influences, cortisol signals become louder and harder to shut off. The nervous system stays alert longer, and anxiety rises even when nothing is actively wrong. This is why women often say, "I'm fine all day," but nights are the worst. How cortisol creates the feeling of anxiety. Cortisol doesn't just affect thoughts, it affects the body. When cortisol is high at night, it increases alertness, raises heart rate slightly, tightens muscles, sharpens sensory awareness. In a quiet environment, these physical changes are felt more intensely. Normal body sensations suddenly feel threatening. Thoughts begin scanning for danger, even when none exists. This is physiological anxiety, not psychological weakness. Why quiet makes it feel worse. During the day, noise, movement, and distraction help keep cortisol contained. At night, when stimulation drops, internal sensations become louder. The brain interprets this sudden alertness as a problem and begins searching for explanations. This creates a loop. Cortisol causes alertness, alertness causes worry. Worry raises cortisol further. Understanding this loop is incredibly reassuring because it explains why anxiety seems to appear out of nowhere. Symptoms women commonly notice. When nighttime anxiety is driven by cortisol, women often experience racing thoughts after getting into bed, a sense of internal tension or restlessness, tight chest or shallow breathing, sudden alertness despite exhaustion, anxiety that fades by morning. These symptoms are rhythmic and hormonal, not random. Why this is often misunderstood. Night anxiety is often labeled as overthinking or generalized anxiety. While emotions play a role, this explanation ignores the timing of symptoms. If anxiety appears mainly at night, hormones are almost always involved. Recognizing this removes self-blame and fear. Doctor-approved ways to help cortisol. Fall at night. Supporting cortisol's natural decline starts earlier than bedtime. Helpful support includes reducing stimulation in the evening, creating predictable routines, avoiding late-night stress and screen exposure, supporting blood sugar and sleep consistency, allowing moments of calm during the day. These signals teach cortisol when it's safe to turn off. Night anxiety often happens because cortisol is active at the wrong time. After 30, hormonal shifts and chronic stress make it harder for cortisol to fall naturally in the evening. This creates physical alertness that feels like anxiety, even when nothing is wrong. When cortisol's rhythm is supported, nighttime anxiety often softens and calm becomes possible again. Progesterone, the missing nighttime. Calm hormone. When your mind wants to sleep, but your body won't let go. You may feel mentally exhausted at night, yet your body stays tense and alert. Sleep feels close but unreachable. Anxiety rises as soon as you lie down. For many women after 30, this pattern appears when progesterone, the hormone that normally brings nighttime calm, is no longer providing enough support. What progesterone does for the brain at night. Progesterone has a powerful calming effect on the nervous system. It supports GABA, a neurotransmitter that slows brain activity, reduces anxiety, and prepares the body for sleep. In simple terms, progesterone helps turn down the volume of the mind and body after dark. When progesterone is sufficient, it becomes easier to relax, breathe deeply, and drift into sleep. Why progesterone declines earlier than expected. Many women assume progesterone only changes near menopause, but it often declines in the mid-30s. Progesterone is produced after ovulation, and ovulation can become less consistent with age, even when cycles appear normal. Chronic stress accelerates this decline. When your body is under pressure, it prioritizes making cortisol to handle stress. Progesterone and cortisol share the same resources. When cortisol demand is high, progesterone production is reduced. This leaves the nervous system without its natural break. How low progesterone creates night anxiety. Without enough progesterone, calming signals weaken. Stress hormones remain active longer, and the nervous system struggles to shift into rest mode. This can lead to restlessness at bedtime, racing or looping thoughts, tight chest or shallow breathing, a feeling of inner agitation, anxiety that worsens before sleep. These sensations are not emotional failure, they are hormonal signals. Why nighttime is when it feels worst. Progesterone naturally peaks in the evening. When levels are low, the contrast becomes obvious at night. The calming support that should appear simply isn't there. As stimulation drops and the environment becomes quiet, the lack of progesterone is felt more strongly. The nervous system remains alert and anxiety rises. Cycle-related night anxiety. Many women notice night anxiety worsens before their period. This is when progesterone naturally falls. If baseline progesterone is already low, this drop becomes more noticeable. This pattern, calm during the follicular phase, anxious at night during the luteal phase, is a strong clue that progesterone is involved. Why this is often misread. Because night anxiety involves thoughts and emotions, it's often treated as a mental health issue alone. While emotional support matters, it doesn't address why symptoms appear at night and fluctuate with the cycle. Understanding progesterone's role helps explain the timing and reduces fear. Doctor-approved ways to support progesterone's calming effect. Supporting progesterone means supporting rest and recovery. Helpful support includes consistent sleep schedules, avoiding overexercising, eating regularly to prevent stress signals, creating calming evening routines, managing daytime stress intentionally. These signals help the body feel safe enough to produce progesterone again. Progesterone is a key hormone for nighttime calm. When it declines, which often happens after 30 and during stress, the nervous system loses its natural brake. Night anxiety increases, not because you're weak or broken, but because calming hormonal support is missing. With the right support, nighttime calm can return naturally. Blood sugar drops that trigger night panic. When anxiety wakes you from sleep for no clear reason, you may fall asleep feeling fine, then suddenly wake with a racing heart, sweating, or a wave of fear that feels intense and unexplainable. Nothing bad is happening, yet your body feels alarmed. For many women, this nighttime anxiety isn't emotional at all. It's often triggered by blood sugar dropping too low during the night, which activates stress hormones. How blood sugar and the nervous system are linked. Your brain depends on a steady supply of glucose to feel calm and safe. During sleep, blood sugar naturally dips. When it dips too far, the brain interprets this as danger. To protect itself, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol to raise blood sugar quickly. These hormones increase heart rate, alertness, and muscle tension. The result can feel exactly like panic, even though it's a metabolic response, not a psychological one. Why this happens more, often after 30. After 30, insulin sensitivity often becomes less stable, especially with chronic stress or poor sleep. Hormonal shifts in estrogen and progesterone also affect how the body manages glucose overnight. Lower progesterone removes calming support. Fluctuating estrogen increases sensitivity. Together, they make the nervous system react faster to small blood sugar drops, turning a normal dip into a stress response. This is why night anxiety can appear out of nowhere, even in women who don't feel anxious during the day. Evening habits that increase nighttime blood sugar dips. Several common patterns raise the risk of nighttime anxiety by destabilizing blood sugar. Skipping dinner or eating very lightly. Eating a high sugar or refined carb dinner. Long gaps between dinner and bedtime. Drinking alcohol in the evening. Intense late-night exercise. These habits can cause blood sugar to rise quickly and then fall during sleep, triggering adrenaline release and anxiety. Why the symptoms feel so intense. Adrenaline's job is to wake you up and restore balance. When it's released at night, it brings the body into full alert mode. This can cause racing or pounding heart, sweating or feeling hot, shaking or inner tremor, sudden fear or dread, difficulty falling back asleep. Because the environment is dark and quiet, these sensations feel stronger and more frightening. Signs blood sugar is involved. When night anxiety is driven by blood sugar, women often notice waking at similar times each night, anxiety that improves after eating, night sweats or feeling overheated, hunger during nighttime awakenings, feeling calm again by morning. These patterns point to a metabolic trigger rather than emotional anxiety. Why this is often misdiagnosed. Nighttime adrenaline release feels like panic. Without understanding blood sugar's role, women are often told it's anxiety or stress alone. While stress contributes, the trigger is often physiological. This distinction matters because reassurance alone doesn't stabilize blood sugar. Doctor-approved ways to support blood sugar at night. Supporting blood sugar stability can dramatically reduce night anxiety. Helpful strategies include eating a balanced dinner with protein, fiber, and healthy fat, avoiding large sugar-heavy meals late at night, not skipping dinner, managing daytime stress to improve insulin response, keeping sleep timing consistent. Some women also benefit from a small protein-rich evening snack if nighttime awakenings are frequent. Night anxiety can be triggered by blood sugar dropping too low during sleep. After 30, hormonal shifts and insulin sensitivity changes make this response more common. When blood sugar dips, stress hormones surge to protect the brain, and the body feels panic. Stabilizing evening nutrition and daily rhythm helps calm this response and allows nights to feel safer again. Estrogen, sensitivity, and why anxiety feels louder at night. When everything feels fine until the world gets quiet. During the day, you may feel mostly okay. You're busy, distracted, and functioning. But at night, when the lights dim and the house is quiet, anxiety suddenly feels louder and harder to ignore. Your body sensations feel amplified, and your thoughts become more intense. For many women after 30, this happens because estrogen fluctuations increase nervous system sensitivity, especially at night. How estrogen affects emotional and sensory sensitivity. Estrogen doesn't just influence reproduction, it plays a key role in how the brain processes sensations, emotions, and stress signals. Estrogen helps regulate neurotransmitters like serotonin and supports balanced communication between the brain and nervous system. When estrogen signaling is steady, the brain filters information calmly. Sensations feel manageable, emotions feel proportionate. When estrogen fluctuates, this filtering becomes less effective, and the nervous system becomes more sensitive. Why estrogen sensitivity increases after 30. After 30, estrogen rarely declines in a straight line. Instead, it rises and falls more unpredictably across the cycle and from month to month. These fluctuations make the nervous system more reactive. At the same time, progesterone, which normally calms estrogen's stimulating effects, often declines. Without this balance, estrogen-driven sensitivity feels stronger, especially in low-stimulation environments like nighttime. This is why many women say anxiety doesn't feel constant, it feels situational and time-based. Why nighttime amplifies estrogen-related anxiety. At night, external distractions fade. There's less noise, less movement, and less visual stimulation. This quiet makes internal sensations more noticeable. When estrogen is fluctuating, the brain becomes more aware of heartbeats, breathing patterns, muscle tension, thoughts, and emotions. This heightened awareness can feel like anxiety, even when there's no external stressor. Importantly, this is not overthinking, it's increased sensitivity. The estrogen-stress hormone interaction. Fluctuating estrogen also makes the brain more responsive to cortisol and adrenaline. When these stress hormones are still active at night, estrogen amplifies how strongly they're felt. This creates a loop. Stress hormones create alertness. Estrogen increases awareness of that alertness. Awareness creates worry. Worry raises stress hormones further. Understanding this loop explains why anxiety can escalate quickly after dark. Symptoms women often experience. When estrogen-related sensitivity is driving night anxiety, women may notice heightened awareness of body sensations, anxiety without a clear trigger, feeling emotionally fragile at night, body scanning or hypervigilance, difficulty calming the mind once thoughts start. These symptoms often improve by morning, when estrogen signaling and cortisol rhythm shift again. Why this is often misunderstood. Because anxiety involves thoughts and emotions, estrogen's role is rarely considered. Women may be told they're overthinking or that anxiety is purely psychological. But timing matters. Anxiety that appears mainly at night and fluctuates with the cycle strongly suggests hormonal sensitivity, not emotional instability. Doctor-approved ways to calm estrogen-related night sensitivity. Supporting estrogen-related anxiety is about reducing stimulation and improving balance. Helpful support includes consistent sleep and wake times, calming evening routines, reducing nighttime stimulation and screen exposure, managing daytime stress to lower cortisol, supporting progesterone through rest and recovery. These habits help reduce sensory overload and calm the nervous system. After 30, fluctuating estrogen increases nervous system sensitivity, making anxiety feel louder and more intense at night, especially in quiet environments. This doesn't mean anxiety is worsening or out of control. It means hormonal filtering has changed. When estrogen sensitivity is supported and stress hormones are calmed, nighttime anxiety often becomes quieter, softer, and far more manageable. A nighttime hormone calming routine for anxiety. When night anxiety shows up, the goal isn't to stop anxious thoughts. It's to help your body feel safe enough to rest. Hormones respond to predictable signals, especially in the hours before sleep. This routine focuses on calming stress hormones, stabilizing blood sugar, and supporting the nervous system so anxiety doesn't need to turn on after dark. Early evening, start the wind down before bedtime. Night anxiety often begins earlier than you realize. Long, overstimulating days keep cortisol elevated, making it harder for the body to shift into calm later. Begin slowing the pace after dinner. Reduce intense conversations, multitasking, and mental work. Softer lighting and quieter activities tell your nervous system the day is ending. This early signal helps cortisol begin falling naturally instead of spiking at bedtime. Evening eating rhythm, support blood sugar stability. Stable blood sugar is essential for a calm night. Skipping dinner, eating too lightly, or relying on sugar-heavy foods can cause blood sugar to dip during sleep, triggering adrenaline and anxiety. A balanced evening meal with protein, fiber, and healthy fats supports insulin and prevents nighttime stress hormone release. For some women, a small protein-rich snack later in the evening adds reassurance to the nervous system and reduces night waking. Pre-bed routine, signal safety to the body. Your body learns from repetition. Doing the same calming actions each night trains your nervous system to expect rest. Gentle stretching, slow breathing, or quiet activities like reading activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This supports progesterone's calming role and reduces sensory overload. Limiting screens and stimulating content close to bedtime helps anxiety stay quiet instead of escalating. Breathing, the fastest way to calm night. Anxiety, slow breathing with longer exhales sends a direct signal of safety to the brain. Even a few minutes can lower heart rate, reduce muscle tension, and quiet anxious sensations. Practicing this nightly helps your body associate bedtime with calm instead of alertness. Sleep consistency, where hormones reset. Going to bed and waking up at similar times helps cortisol, estrogen, and progesterone settle into healthier rhythms. Even if sleep isn't perfect, consistency builds trust in the nervous system. Night anxiety isn't something you need to fight. By supporting hormones with steady routines, balanced evening nutrition, and gentle nervous system cues, your body gradually learns that night is safe again, and anxiety no longer needs to take over. Conclusion. If anxiety shows up mainly at night, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. For many women between 30 and 45, night anxiety is driven by hormonal shifts, not weakness or overthinking. Changes in cortisol, progesterone, estrogen, insulin, and adrenaline can keep the nervous system alert after dark, even when the day felt manageable. Understanding this removes fear and self-blame. When you support your body with calming routines, stable nutrition, stress reduction, and consistent sleep, anxiety often softens naturally. Your body isn't trying to hurt you, it's asking for balance. Disclaimer: educational only, not medical advice. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching.